Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of GLP's 10 out of 10. And today we have with us Swedish-born designer Tobias G. Rylander. Tobias is a conceptual and lighting designer based in both Los Angeles and Sweden. After realizing his interest in lighting and visual design, he worked his way through the technical side of the industry for several years, including a stint at the Swedish Royal Opera. In 2007, he began to design and tour with a number of European acts such as Lucky Lee, Fever Ray, and Mike Snow. Within a few years, Tobias had gained worldwide recognition as an accomplished lighting and live show designer, working with acts such as the XX, Mark Ronson, Phoenix, and the Strokes. Tobias has recently branched out into the fashion world, designing runway shows for events with Balenciaga and Calvin Klein. He continues to create production and lighting designs, most recently for acts such as the 1975, Robin, FKA Twigs, London Grammar, Little Dragon, and Skepta. For his work with 1975, Tobias received the prestigious Night of Illumination Sword in 2016, and that's a relationship that he keeps going with today. His most recent work is a multi-sensory art installation in collaboration with Karen O and Danger Mouse, being placed at the Marciano Art Foundation in Los Angeles. Welcome, Tobias.
Thank you.
That's quite a that's quite a portfolio of different projects already. Very varied as well.
It is. Yeah, it sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it is, and obviously, I'm sure many more to come yet. So some exciting
stuff.
Yeah,
hopefully. Who knows these days?
I think, we're all still under lockdown, but hopefully the end is in sight. So yeah, there we go. Yeah. So already so far, obviously an illustrious career, but winding back, Tobias, let's start with our first question. What was your first show as a designer?
As a designer, I think it must have been just some obscure punk band, because the way I started lighting was at a small rock club in Stockholm called Cafe 44, which was kind of Stockholm's CBGB's. Right. And so that's how I got into lighting, because I was there as a musician and I had nothing to do. So I started pushing buttons instead of being on stage. But the first tour that I did as a designer that I got through there, because the band came through the venue and just asked me to join the tour, was a rock group from Sweden called Sahara Hot Nights, which is an all-female rock group that I stayed with for many years. We're still good friends.
Yeah. That's brilliant. That's great. That relationship continues. They're still together as a band now?
They've taken a long break, but I've heard rumors of them reuniting for a new album.
Right. Wow.
I hope it's true. It would be amazing if it was.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. That's the start of the career, and obviously through a long period of time, I'm sure there must have been what we're calling, a spinal tap moment, a moment where everything seemed to be going so well in the lead up to a production or the lead up to something, and then all of a sudden it just came crashing down around you. Have you got a moment that you might remember?
Well, kind of a few, but I can't say that it was my fault.
You can change all the names if you need to. It's all right.
Yeah. No, I've been with some. I mean, the worst thing that can happen, at least to me, is that I don't understand the artist that I'm working with.
Okay. Right.
There might be situations where both parts really wanted to work, and you think that you have some kind of chemistry going on, but you keep coming up with ideas and the artist likes them, but then when you realize them, it's not what they had in mind because they hadn't really communicated it. So I've had an R&B artist from the US where that happened, where I just kept coming up with conceptual ideas and designs to a point where we just had to go with the latest one, which was on my end a complete compromise. and we were also so close to start of production rehearsals that the staging companies couldn't deliver on time, and the artist was just not happy with it.
Right. And it all came.
And I was not happy with it. No one was happy with it.
Right. That's a
that's when it starts crashing for me, is when there's an artist that I don't understand, or which is like a fault, but it does happen. I'm sure that it happens to everyone once in a while.
But I guess obviously a key to that in the beginning, like you say, is communication and trying to get on the same wavelength with them and talk the same creative language.
Yeah, I mean, having an artist that knows what they want is much easier than someone that doesn't know what they want. For
right.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's hard when all they give you is reactions to what you've already done, and no inspiration or direction of what they wanted from this time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to name any names.
That's fine. That's fine. I won't press you anymore. Has anyone ever given you advice that you really cherished? What's if you say you've had a best piece of advice, either professionally or otherwise, what would you say is that?
Oh, I mean, so many. I was so fortunate to really early in my career to team up with Roy Bennett and Corey Fitzgerald, and having them as mentors and business partners, I got good advice all day,
right.
Basically. But I can't really come up with one, like a phrase right now. But though Corey and Roy had tremendous impact and guidance in my career.
Right.
I still call them when I need a good advice.
I mean, they're both obviously, like yourself, very, very experienced. Very well traveled, very, very versed in the industry, as you say. So, I'm sure they're spouting wisdom every day of the week.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. What's your proudest achievement, would you say, professionally?
I have a lot of them, to be honest. I mean, the Night of Illumination Award, obviously, is really amazing and unbelievable. But and like you said, I've done so many types of lighting design. To do the opening the Paris Fashion Show, Paris Fashion Week with Alexander Wang and Balenciaga was amazing and felt unbelievable, and I was very proud of the result of that design as well.
Right.
Obviously, the 1975 work have been very rewarding, and the project that you mentioned at the Marciano Art Foundation that now is unfortunately closed, but with Carano and Danger Mouse, the art installation, I'm very, very proud of, because it was just amazing and beautiful.
Is that likely to come back somewhere else, do you think?
It's not, unfortunately. It became the main object and the center of attention is a 16-ton rock that was projected mapped onto, and it was standing in a pool of water, and it had rain and laser come down over it, and it was stood on live grass. So planted grass indoors that we had to keep alive. So at least not in that shape and form. It's very unlikely. There was talk about moving it around, but no one really wanted to move that rock around, and not many companies could take the weight of it.
It's certainly an undertaking, move a 16-ton rock around.
Yeah.
And I guess, not so many venues have space for a 16-ton rock to just come and sit.
No, the floor won't take it.
That's right. We mentioned before that, of course, we're still in the lockdown at the moment. What do you do in your downtime?
Well, the first couple of weeks I was very stressed, and like so many, I believe, had like the stress of, right, now I get to like touch up my drawing skills or rendering skills or whatnot. But that stress took a very hard turn when I decided to relocate to Sweden. So right now I am at my Swedish farmhouse without running water, without a kitchen, and without a bathroom. So right now I'm renovating my farmhouse.
Right. That's some whole different stresses when you don't have a kitchen.
Yeah, but right now, the weather is beautiful, and I'm in a small village with lots of relatives and family, so they were all helping out.
A lot of support around you.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I do lots of gardening, and I help with my family with farming animals, actually.
Right, that's awesome. That's good, and completely different to being stuck inside a room with no windows.
I mean, yeah, it's day and night. It was very strange to come back to Sweden because the mentality here is very different from in Los Angeles. So it's some adjusting, and yeah, I kind of had to take off my tinfoil hat.
I can imagine. There's certainly been a lot in the newspapers about how Sweden got through the pandemic and the lockdown and everything, and it was quite a different approach that it took to other countries.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I have chosen not to go in too much in depth in discussion because they're very set in how it's going to work, and in some ways it is working because the world around us seemed to have to open up and kind of adjust to where Sweden already got. But I mean, I have a lot of opinions about it, as we all.
I think everybody does. That's right. All right, let's move on to the next question then.
Sure.
You've traveled obviously, around the world and seen lots of places and lots of venues. Do you have any particular favorite venue?
Oh, I do. I love Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Everything about it is just so magical and cool. And, every act and every show that you've ever wanted to see or wanted to work with or whoever, everyone has done that. And I remember the first show I did there was, you can't really believe that you've done a show at the Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Royal Albert Hall is really nice in London, and the Roundhouse in London.
Right. Yeah. Another classic.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I really enjoy doing theater shows in like old proscenium balcony theaters.
Okay.
I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously there's as some of the older venues, I guess there's some beautiful architecture.
Yeah, and you have to kind of adapt to the room in so many ways because you have ice at different angles, and yeah, I just like the proscenium theater seating.
Right. Yeah. Brilliant. Now some iconic venues there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So during the downtime, a lot of people do turn to, listening to music a lot. Do you have a particular artist or, or a particular album that you would just always want to have with you if you got stuck on a desert island or we had to go through another lockdown?
Yeah. I would have to pick one of the 3 original first Kiss albums.
Okay.
I've been a Kiss fan my whole life, but I was crazy about Kiss when I was early teens.
Yeah.
And the original 4-member, obviously. So, this week would probably be Dressed to Kill, maybe, with Kiss.
Okay. Right. Wow, that's incredible. I probably wasn't expecting that as an answer.
No, my first stadium show that I went to was Kiss in Stockholm.
Right.
My mom took me. I had to go with me.
That's cool.
But yeah, that was the first like full production show that I ever saw.
Right. I think that happens a lot. If I think about myself as well, you know, some of the first shows that I went to see were always, you know, your favorite artist, and that's remained all the way
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say that I listen to Kiss once a month these days, but that, I mean, whenever I need that like little boost, I would go back to one of the first 3 or 4 Kiss records.
Right. Wow, brilliant. If you could wind back in time and go and visit the teenage Tobias and offer one piece of advice to him, what would that be?
Don't listen to grown-ups. Probably. I was miserable in school. I didn't have good grades, and I studied music, classical trumpet, which a lot of grown-ups advised me not to do. And after that, when I figured out that it was lighting that I wanted to do, after like finding it in that rock club in Stockholm, you know, it wasn't a real job.
Right.
Was it even a job? Like, and to be honest, in the beginning, it wasn't, because I wasn't getting paid. I started working for free as an intern at Spectra in Stockholm, and just like stayed, and eventually started to get paid. But yeah, I got a lot of bad advice from grown-ups not to pursue with my dreams, I guess.
Right.
Because, you know, of like economy and security, and you have to have a pension one day, and scary grown-up stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's probably a familiar story. I had some of that growing up as well. Yeah. You need to get a quote unquote proper job. Work in an office, work in a bank.
Yeah. No, so yeah, I would probably just encourage me a little bit more.
Right. Follow your dream.
And yeah, be that grown up that like encourage talent and like dream. And also maybe try to find an easier way to take, because I was struggling a lot in the beginning.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I would encourage myself.
Right. That's great advice, though. That is, have something, have a strong wind behind you.
I think so. And where I grew up as well, there was not a lot of that going on.
Right. Yeah. So you had to fight even harder to find the opportunities.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If you had the opportunity to sit down with any one person, they could be alive, they could be dead, and sit down for a beer or a cup of coffee, and just chat away with them, who would that be?
I don't know. If I take a live one, it would be Ace Frehley from Kiss again.
Okay. Right.
He's a hero of mine. But of course, I mean, there are so many interesting people these days. But yeah, Ace Frehley from Kiss.
Okay, we'll go with him. Yeah. Fantastic. There we go. That's a good answer. And then, as if by magic, we're already here at our final question. So the final question, you're about to get a call from the Swedish Olympic Committee, and they're going to call you up to help compete for your country. Now, it could be the Winter Games, or it could be the Summer Games. But the question is, what sport are they going to call you up for?
Snowboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I love snowboarding, and I used to do it a lot when I grew up, because we have ski slopes 20 minutes from here.
Right. Perfect.
Pretty good ones as well. And in my early teens, there was a lot of good snowboarders in this community. Like I think 3 of my snowboard mates have been in the Olympics.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, we used to, like, all our moms would have to take turns to drive us to the ski slope after school every day.
Great. But that's great when they're so close. You could go and do it every single day, as you say.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, it would definitely be snowboarding, and I'm so excited to pick it up again.
Great. As the as the winter starts to come in.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, it can wait a little bit before.
Right. Enjoy those nice long Swedish summers first.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
It's
long.
so nice now. It's incredible.
Brilliant. Tobias, that brings us to the end. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being able to find some time for us. Obviously, you're very busy at the moment with everything else going on with your family and your new location and everything. So, so we really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And of course, I look forward to catching up with you in person again at the
I can't wait.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you, Tobias.
Thank you, Mark.